Welcome back to another Plasticon review. Today we're going to cover another Generation 2. Well, I'm talking G2, I'm talking Generation 2 Hotspot. Here's G2 Hotspot, armed to the teeth. This is him with all the accessories and everything he would come with. I do have a missile for this, but the missile is actually packed away. I did not drag the missile out. And also, another disclaimer, this would have been an orange gun. It wouldn't have been green. So, with my custom, that's the only thing. I haven't gotten around to paint this the appropriate color, but that's okay. He would have came with basically a missile launcher that was identical to Bruticus. If you know anything about the lineage of Generation 2, they tend to reuse things a lot, and missile launcher wise, and anybody else is an Eagle Eye G.I. Joe guy, you would know this is also a G.I. Joe weapon. So it's kind of funny how they reverse engineered that. He does have the single peg and then the larger peg, so both hand portions can hold it. I believe the original would have had a place here to actually plug the gun directly into the top, just like this too. This is a configuration I've come up with when it comes to trying to attach all the parts to him, which is pretty much about what you would do with this anyway if you had this toy back in the day. That this toy would have came out back then. But as you notice, he is a very, very armored up fire engine. I'm a huge fan of fire engines, and Hotspot being red and orange is just like totally up my alley, and the fact that he's got all those blue accents is kind of cool. I'm doing a bit of a spin here so you guys can see how I've attached everything to him, because I'm going to have to take everything off here in a minute. So just kind of showing you what I did to attach all these parts. If you have a G1 Hotspot, the same thing can happen with it. It's the same toy. Now, if you have that crazy knockoff out there, good luck. I don't know if that would actually work or not. I do know there's a knockoff that's a red one. I didn't actually opt out for that. I should have, so I wouldn't have to do all the painting. But the red is a little different, so I was like, you know what, fine, I'm just going to go with this. But yeah, Hotspot. Love Hotspot. But anyway, let's go ahead and take some of these bits and pieces off of him. This just rests on here. I tend to bring it all the way back because it actually has a stopping point for the waist piece, so you can actually just kind of rest it on top. And then you'll just kind of wiggle these and take these off. These guns do come off, but I just tend to just leave them in his hands. I'll probably put them in the robot mode hands here in a minute. So let's go ahead and take this one here off. Go ahead and just take these off real quick so I can show you how that works. And as for the back, the crazy thing that this thing is able to do, and I remember seeing this, I think even in the instructions back in the day, showed that you can use Hotspot as a transport as well. And take this off. You primarily keep these two here pegged into the back, and then you're supposed to take the whole ladder portion here, bring it forward, obviously spin it around. Let's see here, spin it around, there we go, and now he's kind of a carrier of sorts. I'm gonna park a Hot Wheel under here to kind of give you a bit of an idea. He would hold pretty much any smaller, like a mini bot would fit under here. Groove would fit, not Groove, but Streetwise would fit under here. First Aid maybe a pinch, but yeah, it's just an extra mode that they came up with the fact that you can have him carry stuff. And if you extend the legs, it makes it just a little bit longer, so that way you can carry things that are just a little longer than that. Let's go ahead and put this back in its correct position so that way I can finish showing off the rest of this before we get any further. Go ahead and pull these two little bits here off. Now he looks like a normal fire engine with these two huge hoses here on the sides. These hoses are really neat. They do have like a angle type of thing they can do, so these can go out to the side here, so if he's needing to fight a fire on both sides of the road, he could. I just always loved the fact that he came with hoses. It's just really neat. Notice he's got a lot of detail here. He's got these kind of orange hose here. He's got the orange hubcaps. Has Hotspot written right there with his kind of fire emblem with his G2 logo. And then here on the top, raise up the ladder a little bit here, and you can see 95-1. And this is exactly what it would have been on the top of the original one as well. Would have had the same sticker detail there. And same thing going on here where it says Hotspot. And to let you guys know, the prototype that's out there that's been in people's hands never had any of the decals. The only picture we have is actually on, I think it came off a Space Bridge many years ago, but you could barely make out what this did. I guarantee you it would have said Hotspot. I'm not really sure what kind of font, so I picked a font I believe that would have fit, which kind of matches First Aid's font. So I went ahead and went with that, and then kind of made up my own logo there on the side, which I think I've gotten extremely close to what it would have been, because I've done some real good zoom-ins of it to try to see what I can see. It's a very old grainy picture that you're not going to get. They didn't have high-def TV and all that stuff back when those pictures were took, so there was no such thing as that. So getting a very high-definition picture of one of those stickers is insanely difficult to do, and I have not ever seen one out there, so I've done the best I could possibly do there on that end. But Hotspot is one of my favorite of the entire group. I just love fire engines. It's kind of funny how his front wheels rarely ever touch. Like, even the original, like every original had that problem. He does have rubber wheels, and this is a die-cast chest too. I do know there's a plastic chest version, so I do know that's two big differences between them, because I've had Generation 1, Generation 2, obviously. I've handled the Gaia Guardian version that came out a long time ago. I've also messed with a lot of knockoffs, and yeah, pretty cool. He does have an extending ladder, by the way. His ladder is pretty good. I arguably say this is the best ladder out of all Transformers, because even Inferno's ladder wasn't the length of this one. I just like the fact that this thing actually had 3 tiers instead of just 2. He does have little squirters there on the end. Like I said, I believe the original would have allowed you to be able to just hook the missile launcher on top like this, which is really gnarly. I love the look of that. It just makes him look like he's actually, you know, fighting fires the way he should be. I don't know, I'm a big fan of Hotspot. Hotspot's always been amazing. And I know in the G2 comic he was depicted in his original Generation 1 colors and unfortunately meets an untimely demise in the end. But I like Hotspot. He is cool. Like I said, I'm biased. I love fire engines. So anyway, let's go ahead and close this up. And like you saw earlier, you can rotate this. This does have 360-degree capability. It's just a little stiff, so I don't try to mess with it too much. Yeah, these just peg in. These actually have ability to move up and down, and they peg in this hole right here. Some people probably don't even know what that hole is for. That is what that hole is for. It's for these. So anybody out there who's never owned one, there you go. They wouldn't have changed any of the molding here. The only molding I think they would have done was put like a hole in the top here or something in order to hold the missile launcher. That's about the only thing I think they would have done remolding wise if they did anything at all. That was basically how they did it with Bruticus. Bruticus, they put like an extra hole in the gun that goes on the back of Onslaught just to hold the missile launcher, and that's all they did. That's literally all they did was pop a hole in it. Which, to be honest, they wouldn't even have to mold. All they had to do is say, done. This, they might have just molded like an extra piece or something that clicked in. But I mean, he does have this holes here on the side, but I know this does not fit. So this obviously would not have gone there. And it does not fit this either. It's still too big. So, it just doesn't work that way. But anyway, Hotspot. Love Hotspot. This is getting kind of long, I know. I'm sorry, guys. He has a simple transformation. I normally just pull his whole ladder portion here up and then just kind of get it up out of the way. Now, the part here that's scariest for me are these legs. These legs are extremely stiff on mine. Like one is and one isn't. There we go. And there you go. You got an extended fire truck. But take this part here. I don't normally just turn it like this because this is going to fold and go to the back anyway. And then you'll take his two arms and then fold them down, just like so. And then you'll press down on his head, and his head will spring up. Sometimes he gets stuck. Just the platform it's on, it sometimes gets stuck. There you go. And a hotspot in his robot mode. This will just collapse against his back. And he does have arm articulation here. These are really difficult to slide out, but they do slide out for his hands. Come on. Might have to do this off the camera, so give me a minute. Got one of my little tools here to kind of stick in here to push it out. This is probably due to the fact that I did customize this guy, so it is a little difficult to get his little hands out. So normally I can kind of push on one part of it and then it'll push out the rest of the way. Actually, if I hadn't transformed him in a long time, it's very difficult to do. And I have loosened these a lot, so they're about as loose as they can get without literally just trying to come off. The original, these would have been molded in orange. There we go. Might be able to just pull it out now. Ah, there we go. Success. That's another leg. Here's kind of there. Is it? No. It's not out of the way. There we go. It's a little stuck. Anyway, there's Hotspot in his robot mode, and he is pretty neat. I know he's kind of sitting a little bit sideways here. It's because the legs did not get pulled out all the way. There they are. Like I said, he's stiff. I primarily leave him in Defensor mode, that's why. There we go. Haha. I gotta pull it out anyway, so I can do combination mode anyway, so there we go. There he is in his robot mode, and he can hold the little gun here. So I thought he could. I might actually have to modify the gun in a little bit, but yeah, there you go. It's holding the gun. Doesn't really plug into that because that's for a different thing. But he can actually hold the rifles as well as actual rifles. Just got two of these, but don't know if, can he hold this? That's the question. Can he hold these in his hands? Oh, yeah, he can. He can hold the hoses as well, so very neat. Because if he's trying to help fight fires, I mean, why wouldn't he be able to hold his own hoses? Now, there are these little holes here on the side as well, so you can plug these into those. So they do plug into the holes on the sides of his arm. He does have ability to move his arms out too, so he does have a little more poseability than the rest of the group. You can split his legs literally a little bit, you know, and kind of give him a little bit of an A stance if you want. But Hotspot's neat. I do like him a lot. And you notice, if you look at his head sculpt, he's got like a blue visor, that silver face. It's very reflective. That's why it looks all orange, but it's not. It's very reflective. He's pretty neat. I do like him a lot. I do like the colors and everything else. Have you noticed one of the decals here kind of ripped? I didn't realize this till many years later that part of the decal here had come off, but that's okay. I like him a lot still. He's amazing. But anyway, let's go ahead and put him next to the rest of his compadres here so you guys can see the full group together. They still have their weapons. Alright. Your gun can just not be on the back here right now. There you go. Kind of gives you a bit of a size comparison. This idiot here needs to get over for you. There you are. That's what the group looks like together. And now let's go ahead and do that whole combination thing that these guys do. So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to prep Hotspot. And just compress his fists. This is why his fists are always stiff, because I rarely ever have them out. Because for combination mode, they're not even out. Oh, yeah, there is a base mode. You know, some people are going to be asking about that. As for base mode's pretty easy. I'm going to put his head back down. Come on, put it back down there. There it goes. Because he does have ability to combine with Metroplex, Metro Titan, all those. Just pretty much put his arms in a pose like this, like a T pose, and then you'll take his legs and move his legs out like this. And then this portion here flips up and around just like that. And now he's basically a repair station. What you're supposed to do is add the 2 water hoses here to the top in that little hole that was on his arms that I showed earlier that you can use in robot mode. This one's a little loose, but that's okay. And then what you can do with these, I just usually just stick these in pretty much any of the places that will actually stay. Like you can put them in the combiner holes, because the combiner peg holes actually will hold them just fine, just like that. And like I said, it's supposed to be like a repair base, so these can actually move down if you want them to. And then the little waist piece here would just kind of slide in one of these and just kind of chill there, just like that. As for the fists would go... I sometimes just put them in the little screw holes here on the sides. Why is this one being so loose? I don't know. It normally doesn't do that. And then you got these, which will plug into the little holes on the back that I had go in the other direction in fire truck mode. Will these go the opposite direction in base mode? Let's see it. I'm trying to do this with a camera on my way, and there we go. this other piece over here. And then as for these I always just kind of placed here. You can use those as like, I don't know, generators or something. But there you are. There he is in his base mode, which is pretty cool. You can take the little gun here if you want to and just kind of, you know, set it somewhere. Here, we'll just put it there. No. Can you sit there for me? No? Okay, fine. Oh, it's just... Okay, fine. It wants to fight me. Not a big deal. But there you go. There's his base mode. And the base mode would just accommodate just any of the vehicles and robots. I mean, I've got him right here, but you know, you can use him. It's like, oh, he's getting repaired or whatever. You know, it's like a repair station. And this would actually plug directly into the back of Metroplex. And Metroplex had these little things sticking out. And that's why this has always had this part here that sticks down further. These right here actually slide and slot into that, so that way it doesn't wiggle around. It's just part of the base. But yeah, pretty cool. I did want to show you guys the base mode real quick though, because it's definitely part of Hotspot. Hotspot's always had just this kind of a weird thing going on here. Let's move all this stuff off of him now. Parts forming! Sorry. I actually like parts forming. I'm a big fan of it. Just adds more to things. I'm just going to move his ladder up like this for now. But you'll take the legs and you will fold them like this. Oh, by the way, I should have had this up the whole time for a Hotspot. That's his chest detail. I mean, works pretty well for the repair base too. It kind of adds like a bunch of dials and thingamajigs. And sometimes people will just put this out like this as like a repair platform too. So, your mileage will vary. But anyway, this stays down for his combination mode. I should have brought that up. But anyway, you'll take his legs and do this. And you kind of canter them out just a little bit. Just a little. Because these little tabs here will go down in these tiny little holes here. So, they'll flip down in there, and then you just kind of squeeze it together, and then it'll hold. Just like that. And he holds together pretty well once I get him together. Let's just get, there we go. And it's all nice and flat. And this, plug into here. This post goes into this upper set of holes, not this bottom one. It goes up here. So it'll be up next to the fire hose. Just like that. And then you're going to take this part here, and I normally just pull it out and spin it around, and then collapse it on here, and then collapse this toward his back. And there we got Hotspot ready to go for the rest of the bits. So I'll put the chest pieces on. Go on just like that, and just like that. They plug in pretty well. If you have the knockoff makes this thing a solid piece. It's not actually supposed to be solid, it's supposed to be two pieces. But let's go ahead and move him out of the way. Let's work on Groove first. Take his little weapon off. Go ahead and straighten his arms out. And then what you're going to do here is you're just going to lift up on the motorcycle front. Plug these, squeeze these back together, or slide them back together. Not really squeeze them, but slide them back together and get them back into position to get back into motorcycle mode. And then these I just normally leave kind of just backward out of the way. And then I will take a foot and it'll plug right into this hole here on the back. So that's it. And now we got one leg done. And as for his gun, I mean, he does have a hole here on the side, so you can just plug the gun into the side of his hand. So, I mean, he can successfully still hold his weapon while he's in foot mode. So that's one way of keeping track of the parts. So go ahead and set him to the side. Let's bring in blades. Remove his weapon. And then pretty much just going to move his guns down, just like so. And then you'll take his arms and collapse his arms back in. And then you'll flip his head out just like that, because he becomes an arm. I usually use him as an arm. And then, then you throw the gun. No. I usually leave the guns attached because it kind of gives him more armament in this mode, which is kind of nice. And then what I'll do is I'll take his arm here and I'll spread the blade, because I use the blade always for like a kind of like a shield. You can like spin it and use it as a shield. And then I will take one of the fists and you plug it into this hole here in the back. And now he's ready. I usually leave him extended because it kind of gives him a little longer arms. You don't have to do that. I mean, you can collapse them. So either way, it's kind of up to you. Let's bring first aid in. Let's get rid of this thing. Get rid of this gun. I haven't figured out how to put this gun on there yet, so we'll figure it out here in a minute. Pulls him back up into his ambulance mode. And then this, I just rotate it around and then collapse it. And then he's got the one hole here in the back. And then you just plug it right in just like so. And there you go. And I normally just kind of leave this down. When I get him in more robot mode, I'll kind of push this up a little bit. But, you know, this does move forward. He has Scramble City combinable, so you know you can kind of move these guys as anything you want. I usually use him as a foot, though. And can you actually do anything with his gun, I wonder, in this mode? I don't think I can. Darn. No place to put it. There. It's resting there. I'm kidding. We'll figure something out with those guns here. Now let's bring in Streetwise, and Streetwise becomes the other arm. So I'll flip this up. Basically, you're just going to put him back in his car mode. Still one of my favorite car modes out of all the Transformers is Streetwise. He just looks so cool. There we go. Alright, get in there. Sweet. Then we'll take the combining port and flip it forward. And then we'll take this and flip it this. And you can just leave it extended a little bit. Kind of gives him a little longer arm. It's going to be the long arm of the law here. There we go. Put the fist on. It's good to go. So, let's go ahead and get these guys combined. First things first. Bring these two guys in. Then I will, oops, not smack my microphone stand. These right here will actually plug into these, and this is like the scariest thing to do for most people. So, especially since it's Groove, because Groove has ability to move his head back and forth so much. So he's got to be very slow and gentle. There he goes. And if this was really gold plastic, people would be screaming right now. So imagine that being gold plastic. Oh no! And I just move this up just like that. And that kind of basically finishes his legs, makes his legs look kind of cool. So let's move this up. That way you can see the top portion. And I'll take this, and this will actually plug into this port right here. Just like so. And then we'll take him and plug him into this other port right over here on the side, just like so. And then we'll move this up just a little bit, flip his head up, and there we go. Set this back down, push that against his back. Now we got Defensor. And his robot mode, or combination mode, which I think looks pretty fantastic actually. I'm a big fan of Defensor, always have been. He looks very good in these colors. These colors just scream amazing, and I love it very, very much. I will not ever change my opinion on that. That's just all there is to it. Yeah, I was able to put one of the guns there. I might be able to actually fit another gun maybe in this other hand. And it seems like Gru has holes all the way through, so I may be able to get away with putting maybe all the guns in his hands, which is kind of funny. Gru the arse came to hang on to all the guns. There we go. Move that down so you guys can see kind of what I'm doing here. So if you guys happen to own a Defensor and you want a place to store the weapons, well, the smaller weapons, and not have to keep them in a Ziploc bag. I normally keep my weapons put away, but I'm just doing this just for demonstration reasons. Believe this will fit. Yeah, it'll fit. I just gotta get in there to do it. And the fact that he pretty much has full functionality of his arms, it's kind of funny. There we go. And he can hold all the weapons on the one side. There you go. We got all his weapons. All four of the smaller robots' weapons are right there. Now, let's see what we can do with the bigger weapons. Since I know these only have a port on the top, he's only going to have capability of holding just his two guns, right? Well, let's see what we can do here. It's here. That's here. Which I think it looks amazing with the two huge rifles always have. It's very cool. Let's see here. What can I do with these hose pieces? These will not plug in there, will they? No, will not. I don't know. Will these actually plug into the side of his head? Because if they do, that'd be awesome. Kind of like Devastator does. Which I don't think these will. No. Oh. Haha, I got success on that one. There we go. And he's actually got a hose sticking out the side of his head, which is amazing. I don't know what we're going to do with the rest of these. Or this gun here, for that matter. This in here, for some reason, is not fitting in his hand, and I don't know why I can't get it to do it, but we'll just, I don't know. What was rested on here as a shoulder cam. How about that? There we go. See, it kind of fits in between the arm joint. We'll just take this other hose and maybe, can we drop it behind his chest piece? Maybe? A little bit? Yeah, sure. Why not? It's my toy. I can do as I wish, right? These. What do I do with these? There's really no place to actually attach these. God, I wish these things had holes right here, because if they did, that'd be cool, because you'd be able to like plug them directly into the back. That's one thing I kind of wished I could do with that. Unfortunately, These might actually... Will they work here? Will I get them to fit in the holes on the sides of his legs? I can. Holy cow. Well, and he's got some side arms. Because he's got the little holes here on the side of his back. So, I don't know if this in here will fit. I don't think it will because of this clearance issue. Can I do this and maybe give him a side swing gun or something? I don't know. Let's see. Okay, so he's got a side swing gun right now. I can maybe push that forward and make it so he's firing forward. Let's see if I can do that. That'd be funny if it works. Please work. Oh. I think it sticks out too far. Yeah, I think it sticks out too far. That darn. Oh well. Hey, you know what? I tried. That's all that matters, right? So, I don't know. Just set this on his other shoulder. How about that? There we go. Defensor, armed to the teeth. It's got to guard the arc, right? Here he is, size comparison with Glacial Lord. I think these two look fantastic together, by the way. You can't tell me this doesn't fit Generation 2. It's so awesome. I love it. I just love Defensor in general, but he just really kind of adds to that whole Autobot ensemble we were missing with the monsters and creatures. But it's Defensor in his robot mode. Let's bring our favorite little dude in, Merman. Kind of give you a bit of an idea how tall he is. Defensor's big. But this is the reason why I like larger robots to do this. Like, I like small robots that turn into this. I don't like robots that are literally just this size, consistently. Unless it's a city. That's why I like this. Probably, like I said, more or less my favorite style of toy is Scrambled City. Just because you saw me doing. Where can I put this? Where can I put that? How can I play with this? That is exactly what they were for. And let's go ahead and grab our Reflectabot, since I got one handy here. I'm going to toss him there. Give a bit of a size comparison. There, I can see his head. Good to see it behind his gun. He's got big guns, what do you expect? But, yeah. He's awesome and cool. Anyway, I probably bored you guys long enough with this crazy review, so this has been Plasticon. This has been yet another awesome review of Generation 2-ness, and I'll see you guys around because I have plenty more coming your way. That's it for now. Bye!